Hello, hello. There we go. Is that on? Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Well, forgot about the audio this morning. Hey, good morning, everyone. Good to see you online. Morning, morning, Alison. Got a few of the regulars in the house. Alison and Jeff, Nigel. Morning. Whoever that is in New Zealand, one of my favourite places to visit. Love NZ. Hope you're well. Morning, Margaret. Hey, great to see you. Aaron. Well, while things are warming up, we might do a few little intros. Jason Witten's my name. If you didn't already know, most of you do, but if you're wandering by, if you're brand new, maybe you're just joined our mentoring and coaching program, maybe you found us on the socials, welcome along. Let us know where you're from in the chat. Love to hear from you. Brad, mate, NZ, always a good place to visit. Give us a shout out if you're new, like I said before. Let us know where you're at, what you're up to. Welcome along. We've been doing this for a little while. Wealth Coffee Chats. We hang out in the mornings, about 10 past 8, with some keen beans, just like you. Morning, Nigel, all the way from DY. Used to live in DY. DY, not a bad spot. Used to live there many years ago. I tell you what, should have bought a few properties in DY many years ago. Anyway, there you go. Good to hear from you, mate. Good to hear from you. Anyway, been property investing well over 20 years myself. Done a few deals. Done a fair few personal deals. Helped clients buy over 10,000 properties. My clients own over 10,000 properties right now. Track that. I probably own a few more. Some of you don't fill out your paperwork, you lot. Anyway, do that next time. Anyway, there's a little side note. So, thought we would chat about who makes the money, as they say in the famous Jerry Maguire movie. What's that one called anyway? Can't remember. Jerry Maguire, Show Me the Money. Does anyone know what that movie's called? You know, Jerry Maguire, Show Me the Money. Anyway, show me the money. Who makes the money? Who makes the dollars and cents, folks? Who makes all the cash when it comes to property development? The answer might surprise you, and it ebbs and flows. But right now, there is one group is making a truckload, 27% on the average apartment value in Melbourne. Right now, we're going to dissect that in a minute. But tell me in the chat, what do you guys think? Who out of these people, give me some groups of people in the development process that get paid. Who makes the money? Who makes the money? Let's put them in here. Let's go. All right. Well, who makes the money? Let's go. Number one, does the developer make the profit? Number two, does the builder? Sometimes they're one and the same, but does the builder make the profit? Sometimes, hey, let's have a look at the bank. Does the bank make the profit? Now that's around the wrong way. Does it to me now? Here we go. How's that? Boom. All right. Yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah, hopefully everyone makes a profit if you do the deal right. Exactly, Alison. That'd be that's the preference. Who else is in there? We've got the developer, we've got the builder, we've got the bank. Hello, Kevin. Good to see you, mate. Who else is involved in the deal? Who gets some money? Who gets the cash-ish, folks, when it comes to making the dough, making the big money? Who gets the money? Who else is involved here? What do you reckon? There you go. All right. Yep. Let's say builder. Let's say the surveyors and those sorts of things are in the building and development cost. You put it council. Alexis is on it. Council. Let's go government. Okay. So it could be local and what's the name? And then the investor. Let's say the investor. Or the buyer. Let's say the buyer. Okay. The buyer. All right. We've got 5 people, 5 parties here. We're going to work out who makes the money, who makes the most money. Right. Right now, what do you reckon? Chuck it in the chat for me. We've got 5 people in our list, our lineup here. Who do you think is number 1, 2, and 3? 1, 2, and 3 when it comes to making the money, making the dosh. Who makes the cash? Flash, tell me in the chat, team, what do you think? Because certainly of recent moments in time, the story's changed a little, and it's an interesting conversation to have as we go along. And there are parties in this. Yeah, the developer is most at risk, 100%, along with the builder, I suppose. Yeah, who's got the most risk? Who makes the most money? Folks, that's interesting. So certainly 1 or 2 of these parties make the most money with the least amount of risk. Folks, who is it? Who do you reckon? Who makes the most money with the least amount of risk? I'm kind of loading you up today. I'm going to sort of prime the conversation when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, Alexis is on it. Alexis is on it. Yep. And the bank and the government. Yep, and the government. Yeah, can't pull the wool over your eyes. You lot, can I? All right, well, let's have a look at this. It's absolutely astounding. And I don't know if you can see this very well, but I'll zoom in and we'll sort of navigate this together, okay? Have a look at this. What we're going to do is we're going to have a look at an average 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah, Alison, the investors make a bit of dosh as well if you know what you're up to. An average 2-bedroom apartment in Melbourne as of today, all right? We're having a look at, what's it going down? The average sale price down in Melbourne at the moment for a 2-bedder. There's more expensive ones, there's less expensive ones, but 692. All right, that's the average price down there. So let's add up who gets their grotty hands on the dosh when it comes to this 692 in disbursements. Who gets some of the money? So let's add this up. All right, well, let's have a look at what gets paid to who. GST. All right, who gets the GST? Well, the government gets a GST. That is $62,000. $62,000 to the government in GST. Stamp duty on the land, because the buyer of the land, the developer, has to pay stamp duty per block or per unit. Now, there's developers' contributions. That is, towards green space and infrastructure and all sorts of stuff, then you've got to give the government affordable housing contribution, right? You've got to give them a public space contribution. You've got to pay a building permit and levy. You've got to do council upgrades and services. You've got to now put some money towards the services. You've got to put some money towards other fees, which goes to the government, application fees, all right? And last but not least, when you own the property, let's say for a year, the cost of that is in land tax, $7,000. All up. The contribution from that apartment at that point in time is $118,000. Tell me in the chat, folks, how much risk has the government taken on this deal right now? What's their return on investment from the council? How are they rolling here when it comes to their return? 118 grand, literally up front. Like, they don't wait to the end, right? They don't wait to the end. 118 grand up front before the thing even gets out of the bloody ground. 118 grand. But hey, the hits just keep on coming. Let's just have a look at this. So, also the builder, if they're one and the same, or if they are different, they need to contribute a certain amount to the old council and government as well. So $121,000. Thank you very much. Now let's sell the thing. All right, the government puts their hand out again. I thought double taxes were illegal. So they get stamp duty there and they get stamp duty there. Anyway, there should be a rebate on that for there. Anyway, don't get me started on that one. If it's a foreign purchaser, here's a little bit extra. Give it a little bit extra. Foreign purchaser, $38,000. So an onshore Australian purchaser, the government collects $159,000. Thank you very much. I like that. If it's an overseas buyer, the government collects $190,000. Even better. If you were the government, what would you do? Here's the challenge. Here's the problem right now, team, folks. The challenge is for developers and the like, the tables have turned pretty significantly on them when it comes to the profit per amount or profit per deal that they were making. All right, so let's have a look in the past. So we'll have a quick look here. I'll show you some things. All right, $692,000. If we have a quick look, 692. I should have worked this out in advance, but anyway, we'll do it live on the calculator. 692. All right. Let's say we minus the 159. So minus 159,000 of the levies to go to the government. Let's say down here, what it was in 2021 was 336,000. To build it, minus 336 is 197. So we're doing all right. We're doing all right as the developer, aren't we? And let's have a look at the interest cost. The holding cost minus 35,000 equals 162. Happy days. So in 2021, the developer was making $162,000 per apartment. That works. The risk to reward ratio, they're taking tens, if not sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars worth of risk. Happy days. That's what they're going to do. Away we go. Right. So let's have a look at this. Let's do those math today. And I can tell you what the number is today. At this moment in time, 2023, the developer has $19,000. So the difference in there is mostly construction and interest, folks. If you have a look at this, $500,000 to construct an average two-bedder right now. The cost, I'll get rid of that. The cost to construct an average two-bedder, $500,000 in 2023. And the cost for the interest, because it's more expensive, you got to spend more, it takes more time, $52,000. That's the increase for the developers. And their margin's gone from 162-ish. They're going to pay some taxes on that, obviously. You know, you've got to give the government 30% of that afterwards as well, right? Okay. So they get theirs up front and then they get theirs at the back. Crazy times. And now it's 19 grand. All right. Imagine this. Imagine you were building you know, let's say 50 apartments, folks. Would you build 50 apartments, borrow $30 million to make, as a percentage of profit, let's do this. The developer at this moment in time, 2023, is making a 2% profit. What do you reckon? Folks, tell me in the chat. How do you like them apples? And I'm going to add these two together, all right, just for the moment, just for shits and giggles, because let's say the builder is the same. So they made $19,000 an apartment, right? The bank is making $52,000 an apartment, okay? The government, let's go and have a look what the government's making, and let's just be conservative. Let's do 159, 159,000 in there. And let's say the buyer got a good price or a discount or whatever. Let's say they make $20,000, right? Let's say the market went up, whatever. Who's winning here, folks? Tell me. Look at this number. I think it was 692. 692 as a percentage. 19,000 is 2%. 159,000 is 27%. I didn't do my math on the bank. And if you go 69,000, hang on, 692, 52,000 divided by 692 is 7%. 7%. Look at that. And let's say the buyer makes I don't know, 0.5% or something. So, what do you think about that? Who's winning here? Who's the winner? I can tell you, you and I aren't the winners, especially when it comes to what's going on out there. We've got, you know, a shortfall of housing. So the shortfall of housing, crazy. Who is going to be the loser in the cost escalation here, team? Who has to pay the cost escalation? I don't see the government cutting their prices. I mean, check that out. That is 27% of the cost of a property. Now, even if we go back to this, like let's just do this for 30 seconds. Even if the developer was back here and making 162, even if they were making 162, which is about 25 to 30% in 2021, 165, call it 25 to 30%, right? Even if they were making that, still the cost, the 27%, and I'll say that again, 27% of the expense of a development is council charges and costs, government charges and costs, etc. And they carry on and they talk about, investors make it more expensive and all of this bullshit. And they're charging like wounded bulls, gouging housing like crazy with no risk, no commitment, no nothing. Tell me, what do you think? What do you think? Is that a fair exchange, folks? How does that make you feel? I tell you what, it gives me the shits. You know, who ends up paying? Where does that cost escalation, where does that 27% get passed on to? Who ends up paying more in the end for the cost of a property? the end buyer, the end consumer. All right. What does it all mean for us as savvy investors? Like Alison says here, who is a savvy investor? What are we going to do about it? Well, for all of us, we know that this stuff is on the radar. Massive shortfalls in real estate, and we need to be on the right side of it. All right. Before, the prices and the cost of buying a property becomes unattainable for the average income as we go along. I reckon there's a 10-year window for that. Personally, I think it's a 10 or 15-year window max. It's going to be a lot more difficult for people to start out owning, buying property, et cetera, et cetera. We're already seeing that come through. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully that made some sense, but gave you the shits, to be honest, because, the government, they carry on like pork chops. They've got one thing going over here with this hand, and they're doing something else with another hand. And the banks don't take much of a risk either. Anyway, let me know in the chat if there's something that you want me to talk about one of these days, folks. Yeah. The tenant will pay a high cost. That's right, Luke. Consumers and purchasers. Alexis. Yep, you're dead right, team. Yep. 19K worth of headaches. Yeah, would you do it? No, hell no, said Alison. Why would developers build now? And this is the question, Luke. This is the question. Why would they build? And sadly, they're not going to. And that's only going to make this shortfall issue worse, right? It's going to make it worse, team. Now, what does that mean to us? Well, let's get on the right side of the ledger. Unfortunately, for those who don't own real estate or don't understand how to buy it efficiently, well, it's going to be a lot harder for them. Anyway, there you go, team. Interesting, hey? Interesting. I tell you what, I know I can see, a conspiracy theory where the governments are letting large multinational institutions come in and build, thousands and thousands of apartments because they want the money. They want the upfront fees, and they're giving them a break on land tax. They want the upfront fees. They don't give a rat's ass about the end product. They don't give a toss about providing property to the market in an efficient way. No, they don't care about that. They care about the upfront fees. I'm telling you right now. Anyway, there's a little conspiracy theory to start. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you vote in, as I'm saying, like whichever side of the fence they are, they're all maniacs and menaces at different times for different reasons. And they're always messing with things. But for us as property investors, we need to stay smart and not emotional, and make sure you structure what you do with some good people around you. 6-star team. We talk about that all the time. All right, there you go. I'm just rabbiting on now. Exactly. Yeah. Well, Brendan, it's a good discussion to have, that one. I might put that one, pin in that one for another day. But if we look around the world and you look at other places that are sort of, many years ahead of us in social growth, you can see, you could probably see a bit of the future. All right, folks, that's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Thanks for joining me. Awesome to have you guys here as always. Join me tomorrow for another one if you're up for it. Fabulous Friday. Until then, you guys, remember, this thing is a marathon, not a sprint. Got to take time. Even though these things give us all the absolute shits, we've got to have a plan, work the plan, stick to the plan, go the distance, folks. Buy well, don't sell. Buy good property. That's going to be the insulator for the future. I can tell you that right now. Anyway, done and dusted, folks. Join me tomorrow for another one if you're up for it. Until then, you guys take care. Bye for now.